You'll have to trek through crowded walkways, go through dingy alleys and jump over open sewers to get to this estate. This is the epitome of how years of rejection and neglect can look like on an estate that is more than 73 years old.
Hii estate yetu is no longer an estate. Ni kama slum. Manake hata vile umetembea na wewe umeona.
Utapata hii ni sewage na badala yake hiyo space. Pesa imepeanwa kwa hiyo ofisi, vibanda zimejengwa juu ya sewage. Mahali ambapo hapastahili. Jambo ambalo sisi wagaji sewage ikifunja huwa tunaathirika zaidi.
Like now, we have situations which we don't have control. As you can see this space.
This is a mess.
Okay, it's a mess, but as you can see this space, these are the 2 bathrooms. We have 8 doors down, 8 doors up, 16 doors in total. These are 2 bathrooms. We use 4 doors, 1 bathroom. But the drainage system is poor because as you can see, that is a hotel and it is operational.
Just meters from a sewer line.
What really happened to this estate, which was among the most prestigious African settlement areas in colonial Kenya?
Hizi nyumba zilikuwa smart sana. Hata ndani ya estate tulikuwa na round, tulikuwa na lami, na tulikuwa na nyasi, green. Tulikuwa na wafanyakazi wa City Council wakati huo. Walikuwa wanachukua takataka na waya. Karatasi hizi kuanguka chini.
Who is to blame for the modern day mess that has become characteristic here?
Sasa hiyo kanjo hawakushughulika. Ikabidi niende nichukue mahali loan juu mimi nafanya biashara ndogo ndogo, nichukue loan mahali, nirekebishe nyumba, nirudi. Sasa unarudi, unanunua kwanza mattress na sufuria uanze kupika na kulala hapo chini.
And can this estate really stand the test of time, or could it be time's up for Gorofani Estate? Had you lived in Gorofani Estate in the 1950s as an African, then you would have been the talk of town. But now, the estate has been reduced to a shell of its former self. The Gorofani of the 21st century is a far cry from an area that was well reserved for African clerks, drivers and secretaries working for the Nairobi City Council during the colonial days. The estate itself was built by African laborers for African tenants. Gorofani Estate was among the first estates in Nairobi's Eastlands area and was considered posh at the time. The estate was constructed around the year 1945. The colonial government then coming up with single-room dwelling units for the growing African population. The estate would comprise of 57 housing blocks, each containing 16 single units, 8 on the upper floor and 8 on the ground floor. MORIS OTUNGA's father was among the first tenants in the estate. He worked as an environment inspector for the Nairobi City Council.
Hizi nyumba zilikuwa smart sana. Hata ndani ya estate tulikuwa na round, tulikuwa na lami, na tulikuwa na nyasi, green. Tulikuwa na wafanyakazi wa City Council wakati huo. Walikuwa wanachukua takataka na waya. Karatasi hizi kuanguka chini. Wanatoa na wanachoma na waya wanatoa. Wangeweza kutupa takataka nje ama mahali popote.
But now things are a lot different in Gorofani Estate. Gone are the days when the City Council cared about cleanliness. When 61-year-old MORIS OTUNGA's father moved here in 1948, he thought his family had hit the jackpot. At the time, most African dwellings comprised of mud housing with grass-thatched roofs.
Nakumbuka vizuri sana wakati hizi nyumba zilikuwa zimekoteshwa, tulikuwa na grupu 3. Tulikuwa na grupu ya City Council yenyewe, staff, tukawa na PAT, tukawa na watu na company ya power. ndio walikuwa nakaa hizi nyumba za company.
Gorofani acquired its name based on the fact that during the time of its construction, there were no other single-story buildings in the entire area. The estate took up a lot of the Asian design, but for African dwelling, which comprised of each block having 2 washrooms and 2 bathrooms, serving 16 households. If you take a walk through the nearly 10 acres of land covering the estate, you'd not be blamed for thinking you are going through a market of some sorts. Gorofani Estate's main sewerage and drainage systems have long broken down, and since the Nairobi City County stopped maintaining the estate years ago, residents, many of whom live on approximately $1 a day, have had to dig much deeper into their own pockets to fix the problem.
But as you can see this space, these are the 2 bathrooms. We have 8 doors down, 8 doors up, 16 doors in total. These are 2 bathrooms. We use 4 doors, 1 bathroom. But the drainage system is poor because, as you can see, that is a hotel and it is operational.
Just meters from a sewer line.
Leave these meters from a sewer line. Immediately at the entrance of our hotel is a sewage. And at the moment it's blue. So we had to hire somebody to come and remove it. Then we've not completed the work because we had no money to do it. We have to contribute among the residents so that we can get the money to unblock.
The estate, designed as a low-cost housing settlement scheme, charges 1,100 shillings per month for the single-unit dwellings, funds that are remitted to the Nairobi City County government coffers. But if you ask long-time resident Mary Adhiambo what irritates her most about living in Gorofani,
this is the main entrance, this is the sewage, and there is no exit in the hotel.
Then she's most likely to mention the uncontrolled development and lack of planning in the emergence of makeshift structures in the area.
This is block 23, and this is our main entrance. We don't have exit.
This one?
This is the entrance and it's the exit.
Into the houses?
Into the houses.
As narrow as it is?
As narrow as it is, this is our main entrance and the main exit. But initially, before the fire broke down, this was a field, and
it was open.
It was very open, and we had a very big gate here that we used to open. But after the 2015 fire broke out, it was grabbed.
The fire she's referring to occurred in June 3 years ago, razing down nearly the entire estate. The cause of the blaze was attributed to an electric fault, even though an official investigation to the matter has never been made public.
So government cannot help us. As much as we complained, we had nobody to defend us, so we were helpless.
So let me ask you, when fire breaks out, which and it has in the past, how then do you move your property out if this is the only entrance and exit?
Actually, we don't consider property, we consider life. Because you go for property, there's no way you will exit with the property. You just have to take your kids, yourself, and leave the place, leave your property to burn. That's how we operate.
It's a daytime nightmare that has haunted the residents here for years, causing loss of life, damage to property, and tension between residents and business operators within the estate that Area Code will be focusing on after the break.
Kumeweza kukua na hizo friction between the tenants and the traders. Lakini sasa ni vile unakuta ya kwamba imekuja polepole paka soko ikapata wa tenants.
Nyumba zimejengewa, hatuna space ya kuingia. Dirisha kufungua imekuwa ni shida. Mikokoteni zimejaa kwa barabara, kila mahali hakuna space ya kupitia magari. Kwa hivyo sisi wakati tunapata changamoto sana.
In a week we can produce 1.2 billion, including the wholesalers and retailers. In a week.
Hii ni mali ya Kanzo, na sisi ambao tuko kwa hizo manyumba, sisi ndio original ya kuonyesha hiyo ni estate, sio soko. Kwa nini mnanyanyasa sisi na wafanyabiashara, mnaweka wanakuwa na wanatawala sisi? Sasa ikawa wakaachwa kuwa na uwezo, kwa sababu au kuwa pamoja hiki kitu kifanyika.
From this angle, Gorofani looks like any other low-income development housing estate, but it is only after a closer scrutiny of the area that you discover that the estate is tucked right between the country's largest open-air market. The Gikomba market dates back to 1952. It started as a place where people would meet and exchange simple wares in a rather casual and unlicensed manner. By the 1970s, it had developed into the region's largest open-air market, dealing especially with second-hand clothing, better known as mitumba.
79 ndio Gikomba ilianza kuingia kuleta kuwa na manguo. Na zilianza nguo kidogo kidogo sana kwa barabara. Mmoja alikuwa mama moja anaitwa Njeri. Alikuwa Njeri wa Mutumba. Alikuwa mmoja ambaye nilikuwa naona akiuza vitu kwa barabara huko.
Initially, the estate occupied less than 2 acres of space, but with Nairobi's growing urban population, the demand for cheap clothing from Europe and America grew, forcing traders to expand. They would turn to the nearby estate, Gorofani, which had plenty of free space set aside during construction to serve as playgrounds for children and for recreation. The traders, with authorization from the Nairobi City Council, made inroads into the estate and began doing business inside the area.
Sasa hii walitumia serikali kutumia nguvu kuingia wapi? Estate. Watu wameenda makazini, kuruti mnapata kumechengwa. Sasa ukikusa unastakiwa. Sasa watu wakawa na uoka hiyo.
Kwa 90s ndio mambo ya estate yetu ilianza kuwa mbaya. Ni watu wa mitumba walianza kufamia estate. Na si makosa yao, ni watu wa county government. Ndio wao wanapewa rushwa kule. Wanaambia mtu ndio afanye ABCD. Wanawake nyumba ni zao. Sisi ni we are only residents, sisi ni wakaaji.
That infiltration has now seen nearly 30,000 businesses set base here over the last 2 decades.
In this Gikomba market, we are of approximately 22,000 wale wako na stalls.
That's a lot.
22,000, excluding school dropouts wale to accommodate. Because every year we can accommodate to 20,000 children. Na wale wamefukuzwa kazi pia about 7,000, 8,000. We accommodate unemployed youths.
Kama section hii 2A niko na members 2,200. 2,200. 2A peke yake. Na kuna section 1A iko hapa juu. Iko naye na members kama 1,000 na kitu. Hiyo ni ya chairman mwingine anaitwa Mwana. Kuna section 3A iko upande huu wa chini, iko na members kadhaa vile vile. Kila chairman anajua members wake.
Ronald Mukaya started his tailoring business in Gikomba back in 2008. He is among the thousands of traders who help Gikomba produce nearly 1.2 billion shillings in net value for monetary transactions made here every month.
Biashara ya Gikomba ni rahisi kwa sababu ukiwa hapa na shilingi kama 2,000 wewe uko biashara. Ni kinyume na biashara zingine. Kuna nguo za bei nafuu, alafu unaweza unapozitengeneza hapa pia tunatengeneza kwa bei nafuu na unaweza kuuza kwa kiwango fulani unajinua.
Veronica Mongeli agrees. Just like Ronald, she too started eking out a living from Gikomba 11 years ago. She was employed as a tea girl in a local restaurant. Now she owns her own place, serving what I'm told is the best tea I can find in the whole of the market.
Kanju huku inachukua pesa kwa wiki mara 3. Wanachukua Monday, Wednesday na Friday. 100. Kila dini siku 100. Kwa hivyo kwa wiki ni 300.
But for all of the funds collected weekly, services are not forthcoming. Drainage within the market is wanting and there are no access roads into and out of Gikomba. It is for this reason that the famous market has been infamous over the last few years.
Fire was reported at the fish section of the Gikomba market.
Now, traders at Gikomba market are counting their losses after fire razed their stalls last night.
The dawn fire at the popular Gikomba market.
A fierce fire is razing down structures at the Gikomba market.
Between 2010 and 2018, Gikomba has reported more than 23 fire incidences, a majority of which have cost lives and damaged property.
Tunaamkanga, tunapikiwa simu usiku, tunaambiwa Gikomba inachomeka. Kama mimi natokanga Huruma, tunaamka saa hii unalipa pikipiki, unakuja kufika unapata mahali ulikuwa kumechomeka. Unaanzia tena mwanzo.
Kila mara biashara zetu hapa zinachomeka, kila kukicha tunaweka biashara zinachomeka. Na wengi wetu biashara zetu ni ndogo. Hatujaweza kuziwekea insurance. Sasa zikiungua zinaenda hivyo, inabidi unaanza from scratches kujibuild, tukijijenga, ikifikia wakati pia zinachomeka.
September 8th, 2010, an inferno which took about 3 hours to contain burnt down structures in Gikomba. No one was injured in that blaze. Similar incidences were recorded on the 13th of March 2012, 18th of March 2014, 16th October 2014, June 23rd, 2015, October 6th, 2017, and 28th June 2018, all resulting in at least 15 deaths and millions of shillings lost in property damage.
Hizi kitu ya kawaida. Huwezi chomekewa leo kwamba uko kwa viatu ni miezi 2 tu na sasa tena imerudi hii moto. Serikali iko na mkono refu na inaweza jua ni nani anafanya hii mambo.
The claim from the traders has always been that the fires are deliberately started to kick them off the area, but no evidence has been presented to back these claims.
Hiyo moto kwa sasa inatupeleka baya zaidi. Manake tuseme kwa mfano moto ikitoka kwa sehemu kama hii, watu huwaga wanawashwa bila kitu. Unakuta hapa asubuhi mali yako yote imeshomeka, kipanda yako yote imeshomeka. Sasa huwaga hata mtu anashindwa ataanzia wapi kutoka hapa.
Sasa kama venye nimekuja hapa saa hii ndio mwaka ya pili, nilikuwa huko chini. Pata vitu zangu zote zimechomeka. Njoo kazi yangu ni ya kupika tu chai kusupply kwa watu. Sasa kurudisha hizi vitu tena unatumia 20k. Kurudisha sasa hizi vitu tena.
Na 20k ni loan umekopa ama ni pesa yako ulisave ama?
Sasa si ni lazima kama una uendo ukope ndio ukuje urudishe.
But the fires have not only been affecting businesses. Most of the structures are erected right in front of houses, meaning that when the flames at the stalls are burning, so are the homes in Gorofani Estate.
Sisi watu wa estate ya Gorofani ni kama tulisaulika. Hatujulikani. Manake wakati tunapata majangwa. Sijaona siku moja tumekuja kupewa pole. Ama tumekuja kupewa na watu wa sasa tukaambiwa blanketi nini whatever. Hakuna siku tumekuja kupewa pole. Mimi naona serikali ni kama ilitulenga na ni kama ilitusahau. Kwa hivyo naomba wajue Gorofani Estate iko na watu.
Violet OMUNYILA has been affected thrice in her 26-year residency in the estate. Through the help of neighbors and friends, she moved back into her house. Her neighbor, however, burdened by the biting economy and irregular jobs, has decided to stay away. She cannot find money to rebuild a house burnt down in the October 2017 fire.
Sasa moto inawaka, mali imeanzia ujui, unasikia tu imeanza store ile, alafu kutoka inakuwa shida. Juu kumejengwa paka kwa njia. Inabidi wewe utoke ujiokoe na watoto, kila kitu inachomeka.
The fires have been made worse by containers full of clothes set up within open spaces in the estate. These, coupled with what traders call as go-downs so close to the residential houses, makes it nearly impossible to contain the fires early enough.
I'm trying to understand because this is what Muna consider as a go-down.
Yeah.
Sindio, where they store the clothes and all that.
Yeah.
And just in front of this is where the houses are.
Yeah.
just in front of it.
Yeah.
So is this, you say, was open land before?
This was
what
a
happened?
field. Our children used to play here. What happened is that we had no authority. The city county came, they authorized those who constructed go downs to go ahead, not considering residents.
Yes.
So we have no option, but as long as you can enter into your house and sleep and wake up in the morning, you don't have any voice or any sound to defend yourself.
So you can have a mabati like this, which is a structure right next to.
We have no option. We'll just accept. Like the other time, 2015, I tried to defend myself. Those who were constructing, some said that a personnel from City County of Nairobi had sold to him that little space at 20,000. So that is the space our children used to play, and that is also the space that we used to have exit. So if it's Nairobi City County has authorized it, who are you? And if we speak, especially me, I made noise. They told me that they'll put my neck down. So I have to, like a dog, I have to go and hide my tail. Ninyenyeke. Bora nilale.
The October 6th, 2017 fire was among the worst to ever hit the area. More than 1,000 stalls were razed down, and now the national government is constructing a 19 billion shilling modern market set to host 20,000 traders. But with business prospects seemingly looking up in Gikomba market, the same cannot be said about tenancy in Gorofani Estate. With the multiple infernos, many residents here have lost their city council tenancy cards in prospect, making them vulnerable to losing their houses once the county kickstarts the redevelopment project. However, MORIS OTUNGA, who serves as the chairman of the estate, promises to take the matter to court to ensure all valid tenants get re-registered and secured a place when that time ultimately comes.
Hii ujenzi ambao wa Gorofani ambao watu wameumia, hakuna usaidizi yeyote, iwe landlord wetu ama awe mtu anaitwa MP Kamukunji ama kansula Pumwani, wameleta usaidizi kwa hawa wakaaji wa Gorofani.
Hii estate yetu is no longer an estate. Ni kama slum. Manake hata vile umetembea na wewe umeona. Imekuwa na changamoto nyingi sana. Nyingi sana.
What happens, I'm trying to imagine what happens when it rains. And we've had that problem here, flooding in Nairobi. So how is the situation here when it rains?
When it rains, it overfloods. And when it overfloods, it flows and goes straight past our doors, which make it the hygiene not to be comfortable to us because it might cause diseases to our children. We have children here, they are young, they are going to school, they don't know if that sewage is dangerous to them. So it's a big problem which we are asking Nairobi City Council to consider us as their tenants, as we depend on them as our landlords.
Kwa hivyo ile kitu naweza ongea, ile kitu imeharibu hii estate yetu. Kitu cha kwanza, hakuna barabara. Barabara ndizo hakuna. Kwa hivyo kwa sababu serikali tunajua kuna mipango ya kujenga soko na estate, tungeomba waharakishe watenganishe soko na estate yetu ili tukue na mazingira safi, kwa sababu ni haki ya mwananchi kuishi katika mazingira safi. Hata kwa Biblia imeandikwa. Kwa hivyo mimi naweza sema serikali linda mali ya mwananchi. Serikali linda mali ya mwananchi. Serikali linda mali ya mwananchi.
For Area Code, I am Timothy Otieno.